Hi, this is A. Wesley, and here tells it like a TIS. If you like my video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. The topic I'm going to talk to you today about is the Real Housewives of Dubai Season 14 Reunion Part 1. It started out with Andy greeting the ladies. He said hi to Brooks and Chanel and because Chanel Lesa was the first one to come out. He said hi Chanel. She had her red suit. Told her she looked good. She said thank you Andy. Andy greeted all the other ladies that came after Chanel and then he started the reunion off with asking the ladies how were they doing and stuff like that. And then after that he said ladies, let's get right into it. He said Chanel, on the season finale, you and Lesa kind of had a falling out, and he said hopefully everything will work itself out after the reunion. He said how's the relationship between you and Lesa Milan right now? And Chanel said that she hadn't talked to Lesa for a while because after the finale, her and Lesa kind of fell out. And she said Lesa did call her, but she never returned the calls. And Lesa said, yeah, you sure didn't return the call. She said, I tried to call and explain myself to you, and you didn't answer my calls. And so he said, well, how's the relationship now, Aiden? Aiden said, right now, as far as I'm concerned, we don't have a relationship. And then Lesa said, and he said, Lesa, what about you? What do you think about the relationship? He said, right now, we don't have a relationship and stuff like that. And Andy said, well, are you open to having a relationship with Chanel or are you open to having a relationship with her, or you're trying to work on it? She said, Andy, right now, I will say that we have some issues that we got to work out, but I am willing to try to work on this relationship. That's what Lesa said. And Chanel said, well, yeah, we do have some issues to work out. And then so he said, Stansberry, how did you and Lesa relate? I mean, how did you and Chanel relationship get closer? Because the year before, y'all were on good terms. And she said, well, after I apologized to her, we kind of got on good terms, and then we were on the flight back to Dubai, and we got stuck on the plane, and the plane was grounded for a while, so we got to talking to each other, and I found out Chanel was very fun and entertaining and stuff like that. And he said, well, Chanel, what do you think about Stansberry? She said it's the same way. She said Stansberry is very funny person when you get to know her. And I felt like that after she apologized to me, that it was genuine, and I felt like me and her could be close and we could have a bond. And he said, Lesa, how did you feel about Chanel and Stansberry closeness or getting close? She said, well, I was kind of concerned and I was kind of skeptical about it because I knew how Stansberry is. She'll stab people in the back and throw them up under the bus. And then so he said, Stansberry, what do you feel about what Lesa said about your relationship? She said, well, at first I didn't think Lesa would have a problem with me and Chanel having a relationship and stuff like that, but after a while I see that she had some issues with it. And I didn't think that she would have no issues with it. And then so he said, do you think that by you getting by you being a Chanel's friend, that Lesa was jealous of your relationship? And then so he said, Lesa, what do you think about it? He said, no, I wouldn't call it jealousy. Like I said, I was just concerned about Chanel, and I cared about her, and I wanted her to be careful of Stansberry. He said, Taleen, what do you think was the problem between Lesa and Chanel? Taleen said, it's Brooks. He said, Brooks. She said, yeah. She said Brooks got really happy and overjoyed when Chanel and Lisa friendship was breaking up. It's like she was happy, and I was saying, "Ooh, Taleen, you was right." I noticed that in the episode too. And then he said, "Brooks, what are you gonna say about that, Brooks?" Nah, I wasn't jealous. I wasn't jealous or nothing like that. I didn't start nothing like that, but I was saying the closest. I was saying the closest is breaking up now since she's with Stansberry. He said, Brooks, you were Stansberry friend last year. Did you have a problem with Stansberry and Chanel being friends? No, I didn't have a problem. I didn't have a problem. And he said, Taleen, why you think Brooks, had a problem liking Lisa and Chanel being at odds? She said because Brooke was so happy about it, and she was very happy about it, overjoyed about it and stuff. And I was saying, well, why is she happy that their friendship was breaking up? She said, no, like I said, I wasn't happy. I was just noticing that the relationship was getting fractured. And she said, Brooks, you know you're missing and you're an instigator, and you started that stuff, and you told Lisa some stuff that Chanel had said. You said that, well, and then Brooks said, well, I will admit that I am kind of missing, but I'm not the one. I'm not the one this time that broke a relationship. It was Stansberry. And then Stansberry said, I had no problem. I thought that Chanel could be my friend and she could still be friends with Lisa. And then Chanel said, I thought so too. I thought so too, until Lisa had a problem with it. And then he said, Sarah, what do you think about the situation between Chanel and Lisa? She said, well, I'm gonna say it like this. I wouldn't call it jealousy as far as the part, but Lisa, I'm gonna be 100 with you, like you said. You want people to be 100 with you. I'm gonna tell it like it is. It did bother you. It did concern you. And then Lisa said, "Why wasn't bothered by it?" Taleen said, "Yes, you was. You seemed like you were very upset about it." Then Lisa got mad and said, "Taleen, that's why I tell you, you always jumping in other folks' business, when nobody didn't say nothing to you or tell you nothing." She said, Andy asked a question, so I'm just answering Andy's question. They went back and forth. Andy said, ladies, come on now. And then he said, let's move on. He said, Brooks, when you came on to the show, you brought Taleen. He said, you and Taleen was like the best of friends. He said, what happened to y'all relationship? What do you think happened to y'all relationship? She said, well, Taleen was my friend, but then after the Beyonce concert and stuff like that, it was like I was taking up for Taleen against Stansberry, and it was like Taleen was going on Stansberry's side. He said, Taleen, what do you think about that? Taleen said, yeah, after they kept talking about my JJ for so long, and I said, what's the big deal about it? What's the big deal about it? She said, after I talked to Stansberry and I got an understanding of it, I said, well, okay. And it seemed like Brooks was still upset. She was saying, no, I was just having your back. I was just having your back, and you look like you was going more toward the Stansberry. She said, but after Stansberry explained to me and apologized, I said, well, it wasn't a big deal, so I don't know why you kept getting upset about it. Brooks kept, like I said, I was your friend. And then Taleen said, no, I think the main reason why she kind of fell out with me was because I told her that after the conversation I had with Stansberry, she didn't seem like such a bad person, and Brooks didn't like that. Brooks said, nah, it wasn't like that. It was just like I was taking up for you, and then you didn't have my back. And she said, well, I was just telling you that she didn't seem like a bad person. Brooks got all upset, and then Andy said, well, Brooks, it did seem like that you kind of got upset or was bothered when Taleen started, going over to Stansberry and visiting her and having her house. I wasn't upset. And I said to myself, Brooks, you was upset. You were trying to start a mess between Lisa and Chanel to break their relationship up. And then you also was upset that Taleen was having a relationship with with Stansberry. It's like you only want to have a relationship with Stansberry, just you by yourself, Brooks. You don't want the other ladies. And so Andy said, okay, come on. He said, let's go to the. He said, let's go to the. Let's go to the next thing. He said, Lisa. He said, was that the only issue that you had with Aiden, the relationship with Stansberry? She said, no, there was another issue. She said, what was the other issue? She said, Rihanna. And he said, Rihanna? What you mean by Rihanna? And then Chanel said, yeah, let's talk about the Rihanna thing. Let's talk about the Rihanna situation. She said, well, it is, Rihanna had emailed me when she found out I was doing a makeup line, and she said that if it was any help, that if I need any tips or any help, just email her. And she said, okay, I was going to do it. And Lisa said, well, because I thought that Chanel was my friend, I thought she could put in a word for me with Rihanna. And Chanel said, we don't do that. You don't do that. She said, this is business. She said, Rihanna reached out to me and emailed me first. And so I emailed her back and told her, thank you. And I was glad that she wanted to give me some tips and help on my makeup line, because I was just starting my makeup line. And she said that wouldn't have been right if I asked her for tips for me and then put you in. She said, but I thought we were friends. She said, but that was business, Lisa. That had nothing to do with friendship. Lisa kept on. She said, that's why Strandberry threw you under the bus. She said, Lisa, this had nothing to do with this Rihanna situation. Had nothing to do with this. And they kept going back and forth. And Andy said, come on, y'all. And then Chanel on. Lisa said something, and then Chanel on got to screaming and hollering and stuff. And I said, what's going on with her? And then she said she needed some water. And he said, okay. They gave her some water. And after they gave her some water, she calmed down. And then after that, they talked about he told Brooks. He said, Brooks, even though you had a relationship with Taleen, you also had a relationship with her husband, Rafi. He said, y'all had a relationship before. He said, well, why were you so upset with Rafi and stuff? She said, well, they called me an alcoholic. I ain't no alcoholic and stuff like that. And she said, well, you want to argue with me, Brooks, and I don't want to argue, so I walked away from the table, and then you followed us. And Brooks said, no, I didn't follow you. She said, yes, you did follow us. And said, Rafi was walking away. She said, Rafi didn't walk away. And they showed this, and they showed the thing, and Rafi didn't walk away. But she said, he was taking off me. He had my back. And then he said, well, is you and Rafi on good terms, y'all relationship? And she said, that ain't the first time that Brooks talked to Rafi like that. She lied when she telling you that, Andy. She talked to him like that once time before, even before she knew me, and then a little bit even after we got married. And Brooks said, no, I didn't. Rafi was my friend. And then the next thing you know, the writing came off the screen and the episode went off. That was Reunion Part 1. It was good and stuff like that. My next video will probably be 2. But you could tell that there's still a bad relationship between Lisa and Chanel. I hope they get it together by next season, because their relationship was one of the relationships I like. That's all I have for this video. This is A. Wesley. That ain't even tells it like a T.I. is. I am out.